the implication of sacrificing culture for politics. That's what we are going to be discussing tonight. The implication of sacrificing culture for politics. So if you are opportune to watch the beginning of this video, make sure you stay tuned to the end, because it's going to be a very interesting time. You would have heard that the people in Lagos State, the powers that be, have said that the proposed date of the planned End Bad Governance protest, which is August 1st, is going to be the day for the Oro cultural sacrifice. August 1 is going to be the Oro cultural sacrifice, and they said that the Oro cultural sacrifice is going to last from August 1 to August 15. Tonight, I'm going to be dissecting the implication of sacrificing culture on the altar of politics. Also, I am going to be looking at the actions of the president's henchmen at curbing these protests. The action of the president's henchmen at curbing these protests, whether their action is favorable to the president or it is adding more salt to injury. So if you are looking for a place to spend your evening, Polythink with Omoshola Deji is the right place to spend your evening today. So now we're going to go into the topic, the action of the president's henchmen and the implication of the announcement that the cultural Oro festivity in Lagos will last from August 1 to 15. It's your brother again, Dr Omoshola Deji. By the way, expect my video. Maybe I'll upload it tomorrow on News Central, while I was dissecting the End Bad Governance protest. But today, here on this my platform, I am going to be looking at the implication of the announcement of the Oro festival. Now let's look at this. Let's start, on the light note. There has been various reactions since when people said that this Oro festive and this protest is going to take place, End Bad Governance protest. Government has been panicking. You know why government has been panicking? The Kenyan example, it's a great lesson for the Nigerian government, because you know what? Ever since that protest occurred in Kenya, it took the Kenyan government by surprise. It took them by storm. And because they didn't know that it's going to last that long, the Kenyan government is now finding itself to blame. So the Nigerian government is taking leave from that of the Kenyan situation, that if it could happen in Kenya, definitely it could happen in Nigeria. But then again, the problem is, for you to be able to keep this government on its toes, that means you have to be crazy all year round. Why did I say so? Why did I say so? Again, it appears that for you to get anything tangible from this government, you have to be crazy all year round. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is just very, very simple. If you don't take any action, if you don't take any concrete action, if you are not up to your toes, if you are not threatening with protest, with strike, definitely the government doesn't appear to be willing to do anything. And I will give you, examples. Number one, when people came up with the idea of a beam power, simply means that we are hungry. Remember when the president visited Lagos, and the market woman, when he went to the mosque in, I think, is it Ojabalogun or something like that. When he went there, the market woman trooped out and they said, oh, a beam power. The people in that environment trooped out and said, a beam power. They complain of two things. They complain of the president entourage, the flamboyancy attached to it, whereby so many cars, followed the president, different SUVs, and different political stalwart. People complained about the entourage. People complain about the waiting hours in traffic, whereby for security consciousness and alertness, they need to stop people from moving. And because they stop people from moving, people miss their appointment, people miss their business, people miss the time that they are supposed to use for their productivity, thereby losing money in the process. Now, the hallmark of that day was the evolution of the word ebi power, which simply means that we are hungry. So that word, when it grew into my brother Lead of Light, I see you. Please help me share this broadcast, and help me share it to as many people as possible. Now, back to the analysis. People said ebi power, which simply means that we are hungry. What does that ebi power means? We are hungry. When that word, that thing, when it became like a national anthem, government swung into action. Remember that celebrities were clamoring that, oh, this hardship is too much. There's hardship in the land. Government swung into action. The president gave a command to the custom that release the rice, release the grains, the foodstuff that you have seized, release it to the people. When that was released and the tempo of ebi power died down, government also went to sleep. All of a sudden, what we hear is the president needs a new jet. The president is trying to acquire a new jet. In the midst of hunger, in the midst of starvation in the land, in the midst of economy hardship, where the price of things have tripled just within 1 year in office, people are now in perpetual hunger, poverty, and starvation. Well, before you think that people are not suffering, if you are able to eat 3 square meals, I will say, thank God for your life. If you are able to feed your family, thank God for your life. The poverty is real. The poverty is so real that, if people think you are better off, your inbox is full every day. There's different WhatsApp message, there's different billing back and forth. Because why? The people's pocket cannot no longer hold sway. Everybody is just trying to survive. So when people relaxed after the ebi power protest, government also went to sleep. You see why I said that it appears that for you to get anything meaningful from this government, you just have to be crazy all year round. You have to be putting them on their toe that we want to protest, we no go gree. That is when this government seems to be in action. Should it be so? I'll give you another example. Now, when the president removed fuel subsidy on May 29, 2023, moments after he was sworn in as president, he said fuel subsidy gone. Fuel subsidy gone. That is the genesis of the economic hardship we have today. Fuel subsidy gone. When he said fuel subsidy is gone, what did we have? The president and the governors earned more money, and they were sharing the money amongst themselves in terms of federal and state allocation. But by implication, unfortunately, they failed to cushion the effect of the removal of fuel subsidy on the lives of the people. Now, don't forget, I'm trying to give context to my analysis this evening before I move to the implication of sacrificing culture on the altar of politics. When they removed the subsidy and they were earning more, they were naturally supposed to give back more. Now, you earn more, you give back more, because that money you are earning is not even your money. It is the money of the people. You are holding the money in trust for the people. As a government, that money is not your money. It is the people's money. You are holding it in trust for the people. But unfortunately, what did we have? What did we have? The president and the governors were sharing money but failed to return what is appropriate to the people. Not until Nigeria Labour Congress stood on its ground that, oh no, we cannot continue like this after 1 year in office. People are dying, people are suffering. That was when the government deemed it fit to increase the minimum wage from 30,000 to 70,000. Now you see what I'm saying. You see the justification of what I said earlier, that for you to get anything meaningful from this government, it appears that you just have to be mad all year round. You just have to be crazy. It's just like when you have a stubborn child. When you are living with a stubborn child, you have to be screaming all year round. When you have a stubborn partner, you have to be on your toes. It's just like as if you are walking in Oshodi at night in Lagos. You have to shine your eye. If anybody near you, you want to tear the person to pieces. Wow, all those kind of things. You yourself, you have to be a tout. So imagine, to survive in this government is just as if you are working in Oshodi for 4 years at night. There's no day. It is all night. The way you will be acting, the way you will be reacting, that is how you're supposed to be. That is how it appears to be under this government. Because if people do not say that they are going to end bad governance protests, maybe we wouldn't have seen any change. Now, government is up on its toes. But before we further, what we need to ask ourselves is there truly bad governance? Don't forget, the theme of the planned protest is end bad governance. So we first need to ask ourselves, is there bad governance to start with? Is there bad governance? I cannot say yes or no. I can only put it in context for you. Like I said, what caused this thing, this alleged bad governance, is the removal of fuel subsidy. When fuel subsidy was removed, corresponding action was not taken to provide succor for the Nigerian people. When the corresponding action was not taken, the displacement began to grow bit by bit. The annoyance began to grow bit by bit. But is the removal of fuel subsidy itself a bad thing? Don't let's forget, in fairness to the president, all the major candidates campaign with the removal of fuel subsidy. Peter Obi of Labour Party, Kwakwanso of NNPP, Atiku Abubakar of PDP, and now Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they all said, hey, Nigerians, we are going to remove fuel subsidy. The only thing about it is the arrogance of the president. Despite the fact that they all campaigned about the removal of fuel subsidy, the president was arrogant on his own side. He was overconfident. During election, you are supposed to be persuasive. You are supposed to be persuasive to people. Unfortunately, the president wasn't persuasive. He was arrogant. He said, whether you like it or not, we will vote, we will do the election, we will win, and whether you like it or not, fuel subsidy will be removed. For me as a political scientist, it is during election that governments are usually persuasive. Political office, seekers of political office are usually calm. They are usually relaxed. Unfortunately, what did we have? The president was quite arrogant in his own approach. We didn't have that calmness that is always expected for political office seekers. The president was arrogant in his own approach. He wasn't calm at all. He said, oh, the fuel subsidy will be removed. So removing fuel subsidy itself is not a bad approach. But what is bad is not cushioning the effect of that subsidy on the people. What is bad is that you failed to now go against the cabal. You failed to go against the cabal that benefited from fuel subsidy. So in other words, is there truly bad governance? Like I said, it's a relative term. It depends on what you see as bad governance. But what brought us here is the removal of fuel subsidy, and each presidential candidate, the top contenders, campaigned about the removal of fuel subsidy. When they campaigned about the removal of fuel subsidy, and now the president, though he did his own arrogantly, has removed fuel subsidy, the question is removal of fuel subsidy bad governance? No, it is not. What is bad is you not taking corresponding action to cushion the effect on the life of the people, 1. 2, you not going after the cabals. Those cabal that orchestrated the removal of fuel subsidy, that benefited from fuel subsidy fraud, you failed to go after them. That is where the government got it wrong. You cannot remove the burden from the Nigerian people you cannot remove a burden and now place it on the Nigerian people. That is wrong. Now that this hardship had gone on for so long, now that this hardship had gone on for too long, now that this hardship had gone on almost perpetually, people are now saying that no, this is bad governance, we need to end it. We need to end this bad governance. To now make matters worse, the political hallelujah boys, people that love to play the I love you more than God approach, what did they now do? Despite the fact that there is hardship in the land truly, rather than to be persuasive, they said they want to do Oro. What is Oro? If you are not Yoruba, I will help you out. Oro is a Yoruba traditional religion. Should I say traditional? Is a Yoruba traditional practice. That Oro, it used to make one sound like woo, 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 woo. And it is generally believed that females are not supposed to use their eyes to come in contact with that Oro. It is only for male. Females are not supposed to come in contact with that Oro. Then there seems to be another version of Oro that strangers are not supposed to come, to come in contact with. You will notice that when they are doing this Oro, in the olden days, they would announce that, oh, we want to do Oro. Don't come out, especially females. And they would have announced, the king's maid would have announced round the community that there will be Oro. So no stranger is allowed to come out. This is what they are trying to repeat in Lagos. Because if the assertion of the president's aide, Bayo Onanuga, that Peter Obi is allegedly behind the protest, Igbos are not Igbo. They are not part of the Yoruba culture. They are like strangers. They are like strangers, culturally. So if you say you want to do Oro, and you are certain that Peter Obi is the alleged orchestrator of the protest, and you want to do Oro, and there are times that strangers, in quote, cannot come in contact with the Oro, by implication, you are indirectly trying to restrict movement of the Igbos and other tribes in Lagos. Now, if truly you want to do Oro, is it that if you don't do that Oro on August 1st, is there any implication for it? Is there any implication if you fail to do that Oro on August 1st? What will happen? Why did you choose to do the Oro on the day, the time that people want to carry out protest? Is your right to do Oro in the Nigerian Constitution, freedom of association, should you, because of your right to do Oro, limit the right of another person to carry out protest? Is your right not infringing on the right of others? You say, oh, you want to do Oro on the day that people want to carry out protest. Another thing is that if you want to do Oro, I am a typical Yoruba boy. I have never seen where they do Oro for 15 days. Kilo day? 15 whole days. What kind of Oro is that? I remember when I was younger, I used to go to my village, and they do all these, Oro. It usually lasts for max, maybe 1, 2, 3 days. So if you are saying you want to do Oro for 15 days, Oro for 15 days, that means that for 15 days that you are going to use to do the Oro, it means that people will not come out. There will be inactivity in Lagos State. it means that you are putting the whole female population in Lagos State at risk of hunger, starvation, malnourishment, just because you want to do oro. What kind of oro is that? For 15 days, should we sacrifice culture on the altar of politics? Why is it that we can't just get things right in this country? You want to sacrifice culture, a revered culture, a revered Yoruba culture that has existed right from the days of our forefathers. You want to sacrifice the dignity of that culture on the altar of politics. How would anybody want to behave like that? Eh? Why is it that because we want power, because we want to remain relevant, because we want to be seen as a loyal boy to the president, you just lose your senses? Why do people play the I love you more than God approach? You want to show that you love the president more than Sheyi, his son, right? You want to show that you love the president more than Remi, his wife, right? Because I'm not sure the president in Abuja knows about this oro of a thing. So you want to sacrifice female freedom in a state that has about 22 million population. You want to sacrifice the freedom of females because during oro, as I said earlier, female movement is usually restricted, and the movement of strangers is usually restricted for some kind of oro. In the olden days, they would announce around the community that do not come out, and strangers beware. So if you allege that Peter Obi is the alleged sponsor of the protest, and you are now trying to carry out oro on the day of the protest, and Igbos, who are largely the supporters of Peter Obi, and some other ethnic groups in Lagos, maybe the Ijo, the Shekiri, the Urobo, who can be said that maybe they are largely supporters of Peter Obi, that means you want to use oro to now restrict them. Now, you can use anything you like, but you are attempting to sacrifice the dignity of the Yoruba culture that have existed before your father was born, before your grandfather was born, before your forefathers were born. If they had sacrificed the dignity of the culture, will you be proud? Will you be proud to present yourself as a Yoruba man? Will you be dignified to present yourself that yes, I am a Yoruba man? Why do we sacrifice sanity? Why do we sacrifice dignity on the altar of politics to now make things worse? You want power, 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 power. Okay, they will give you the power. You cannot do anything with it. The nation will keep, moving from poverty to poverty, from stagnation to stagnation, from insecurity to insecurity. Power, power, power. You want the power. Okay, you want President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to be there. Okay, he is there. Whether anybody likes it or not, he is there till 2027. Must you lose your sanity? So you now love Bola Ahmed Tinubu than the culture of your own father. You now love Bola Ahmed Tinubu than the culture of your own forefather. You now love Bola Ahmed Tinubu than the dignity and the comfort of your family if you have good governance. What kind of a country is that? I'm not saying don't protest. I'm not saying don't tackle the protesters. You can bring up a counter protest whereby the anti-government protesters are protesting on one side of the road, the pro-government protesters are protesting on the other side of the road, and police is there to maintain law and order. Everybody is doing their shouting match. That makes sense. But how dare you, whoever made that announcement, how dare you, I repeat, how dare you want to sacrifice the dignity of Yoruba culture, the sanity of Yoruba culture on the altar of politics, the culture that have existed right before the days of our forefathers, the pride of the Yoruba race. Why do you want to do that? Whether you like it or not, every community have their own culture. Every community have their own, have their own culture. Home and abroad, go to anywhere. The British have their own, the French have their own, the Americans have their own, the Asians have their own. Every community in the world have their own culture. The Middle East have their own, the Arabs have their own. So why would you want to sacrifice the dignity? Now, if you now make it political, whereby when you want to do anything traditional, it is now political. You know the implication of that? You know the implication of that? When you want to do anything, people will no longer take you serious. When you want to do anything, if you sacrifice your culture on the altar of politics, that culture will die a natural death or will be undignified. I am a Christian, a bona fide Christian. I can say it anywhere. And I'm proud of my religion. I'm a Christian. But I am cognizant of the relevance of the African traditional culture. It is the pride of Africa. It is the pride of Africa. So if you now want to sacrifice that culture, this is how these people, this is how they started with religion. Oh. During the time of Abiola, there was Muslim ticket. It sailed through. There was no wahala. During the time of Abiola. Before Tinubu took the risk, Muslim ticket was more like a taboo. They have opened the door of religion. Now, Nigerians are as religious sensitive as anything. Before Tinubu took the risk, in 1993, nobody cared that Abiola and Kingibe were both Muslims. But these guys, don't forget that was how Boko Haram became a menace. So there is a political dimension to Boko Haram. Go and read. You go and conduct some research about it. There's a political dimension to Boko Haram. Look at where we are today. That is how during Buhari regime, a governor of Northern State, and I said this thing on Channels TV. I said it live on Channels TV, Sunrise Daily, when I was invited. I said, do you expect that there will be peace in Nigeria? If there is peace in Nigeria, will you not be surprised? Would it not take you by surprise when the Buhari government, when they are seeking power, a governor of Northern State, when Buhari was president, I was watching him live on a TV station when he was referring to the kola nut culture. What does the kola nut culture mean? Kola nut culture is you send kola nut, what you usually call aroko. It's like you are sending something like an instrument whereby you are speaking in parable. That thing, when you send it across to your people, you know, Buhari's ethnic group, the Fulani in Mali, all these places, it means that your brother is in trouble. Come and rescue your brother. And we have import of bandits, allegedly. Don't forget that a governor during Buhari tenure said, we have paid them, we have settled them, but they refuse to go. Another person that was with them during the election, by the way, the governor I was referring to was the former governor of Niger State that used to call himself chief servant. He said it on AIT. I watched it live while he was referring to the kola nut culture. Kawu Baraje, the former national chairman of PDP and political associate of Bukola Saraki, when they fell out with the Buhari team, I also watched him on TV while he was making reference to that kola nut culture. So, look at the implication. The implication of opening dangerous cultural doors on the Nigeria of today. Nigeria is still paying for it. Nigeria is still paying for it. And you see, Mr. President, God guide you, God bless you, God protect you. I don't pray that you should fail because you are my president. If you fail, it will affect me. It will affect my family. So may you not fail. By the grace of God, you won't fail. May God give you wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. But beware of these people. Alaye, beware of these people. These people that are too desperate, that want to, go all out. It's a lie, oh. They don't love you. is because of one thing you have, the power. The cookie jar is with you. You see that cookie jar, they know they take and play. Oh. It is that cookie jar with you that they are interested in. Oh. If you lose power today, they will forget about you. Buhari is an example. How many people is trooping into Daura? How many people? If you look, El Rufai is an example. How many people is in his camp now? The same state assembly that used to worship El Rufai, they are the one probing him now. That's an example. So it is because of the power you have that these people are behaving like this. So, it's Tinubu. If it's not Tinubu, we can't sleep. If it's not Tinubu, we are going to die. It is a lie. They don't love you. They don't like you. What they like is the power that you have. You are not important to them. What is important to them is the power that you are. Immediately you lose that power, forget it. You are nothing. They will be the first to bullshit you. May you live long. If you die today, these guys will move to the next person. Your most trusted aide, your most trusted ally will pledge loyalty to Shetima. If Atiku win election or Peter Obi in the next election cycle, immediately they will move to them. They will pledge allegiance with them. There are some people that were pledging allegiance to Buhari when Buhari didn't give you a free hand in his tenure. And you were bagging the should I say relevant title of national leader. At the end of the day, when Buhari was president, some of them were playing hide and seek with you. When you won the election, all of them pledged allegiance to you. That should tell you, Mr. President, that if you lose that power, they will pledge their allegiance to another person. So when these people, when they are taking some nonsense step, when they are taking some stupid steps, when they are playing their love you more than God approach, Mr. President, don't fail to call them to order. Please, don't fail to caution them. Always try to tell them, I send you message. Nami send you. Because you yourself, you are a product of the culture. You are a product of the Yoruba culture. If people before us have ruined the prestigious Yoruba culture, will you be proud to say you are a Yoruba man? Will you? Will you be proud to say you are a Yoruba man? So this announcement of one mysterious Oro is so demeaning. And the advocate of such things needs to check themselves. In fact, it is a recipe for crisis. It is a serious recipe for violence. Which Oro? What kind of Oro is that? On the day that people want to go for protest, then why is government afraid? You see, the energy that government have put into this protest, if they devote it into solving the problem of the people, they don't go far. The energy that the army, the police is devoting into this protest, if they devote it to tackle insecurity, Nigeria will be better off. You are to protect protesters, not to hinder them from protesting. So, if the DSS have what it takes to identify the sponsors of the protest, so the same DSS does not have what it takes to identify the talks that can disrupt the process. Abba. And I said it on TV this evening that it pains me. It is disheartening when you now decide to use the institution of state, when politics begin to determine the effectiveness of institutions of state. It is a serious problem. It is a fundamental problem. You cannot use politics to be determining the efficiency of institution of state. Politics has now become the operating switch of police, of DSS, of army. So are you saying that when people are dissatisfied, when people are hungry, a protest in support of the president will not lead to anarchy? It will not disrupt the peace in the society, right? If, let's say, people come out now, rather than say end bad governance protest, if they say, oh, kudos to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will the police react this way? Will the army react this way? Will the DSS react this way? So that one, despite the fact that how people feel is different, the cost of goods and services is different. You are DSS, you are police, your wife go to that same market. Your wife go to that same market. The cost of your school fees, the school fees of your children have increased. The amount you are buying garri rice, everything has increased. The cost of electricity have increased. So if people organize that, oh, kudos Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that one, talks will not disrupt it. So it is when people want to protest that government should be up on its toes. That is the one that talks can disrupt. It is painful that security agencies who are professionals, that go through a lot of drills, a lot of training, can be used in such a useless manner by politicians. You will see a politician that is using pen to steal money every day will just give order to a top army, a top police official that has spent over 30 years in service. As at the time that police officer joined the force, maybe that politician was just a ragtag or a non-entity. You know? That's one of the disadvantages of democracy. They will now be giving orders. Oh, yeah, go and do like this. And you know the problem with the job? You obey the last order. You obey the last order. You cannot have a different opinion. You cannot have a contrary opinion. If the president say, go and stop that protest with immediate effect, the chief of armed staff say, yes, sir, and we go by all means to stop the protest. Else he loses his job. So we need to be very careful as a country, not to denigrate the Yoruba culture, not to cause inter-ethnic rivalry. That was the way this I love you more than God political hallelujah boys. This was how they did during the last election of Sanwo-Olu and Gbadebo's rival. You know? That was what they did. That was what they did. They said the guy, because now Igbo mama Bona say he's not a true Yoruba son. Abba. What kind of a nonsense talk is that? They are now twisting the name Revival. That is not a Yoruba name. Anybody that goes to school, we know that Revival is a name that emanated from slave trade. During the slave trade era, people pledge allegiance to their masters. They bear their name. That's why you will see a Yoruba man bearing Smith. You can see a Yoruba man bearing Tunde Smith. They bear names like Cole. Cole is not a Yoruba name. So how did the Yoruba man get that name? His forefathers who were taken as slaves adopted the name of their slave masters in a show of allegiance and total submission to the will of their slave masters at that time. That was the practice. In other words, if you are bearing Bogunde and your slave master is bearing Smith, let's say your name is Yinka Bogunde, for example. If your slave master is bearing Smith, in a show of allegiance, you now change your name to Yemi Smith instead of Yemi Bogunde. That is how it is. So why would anybody bring up such a dangerous ethnic sentiment. To other actions of the president's henchmen, look at what the former governor of Rivers State said. He called a press briefing and he said, oh, on August 1st, we want to honor traditional rulers in FCT, so protest is not allowed. Is your pronouncement as minister of FCT bigger than the constitution? So if the constitution, in a constitutional democracy, permits people to hear their views through protest, who are you to stop people from expressing their views? You can't do that. It's beyond your powers. If you are suspecting that hoodlums can hijack it, then you bring in the police to make sure that the protesters are well protected. I believe you should know better as a governor that has served 2 terms in a state like Rivers State. Look at Bayo Onanuga, the aide of the president. They just know what they know how to do is to just abuse. They believe if you are not for the president, you must be against the president. And I've said it that there are 3 voices in a society: voice of those supporting you, voice of the opposition, and voice of reasoning. Don't mistake the voice of reasoning as the voice of the opposition. When people are clamoring, when people are crying that there's hardship in the land, why not send out your research team? Why not look at the statistics? How much is people buying food before? How much are they buying it now? And see what you can do about it. Rather than just abusing everybody. If you abuse everybody, if you earn enemies for the president, is it only your vote that will bring the man back to office? Is it only your vote that will bring the man back to office? You are supposed to win souls for the president. You are supposed to win support, to win empathy, to win affection for the president. So if you are generating enemy for the president, you are a disservice. You are a disservice to his administration. Your job is to present the president in good light, is to sell the policies of the president, is to win hearts for the president, is to convince people that the president is the right man, he loves the people, he is on top of the situation, and he will deliver. Even if he's failing, your job is to sell the president. But when you now leave that and you believe the best thing is to just abuse everybody, anybody that talks about, that you feel is an enemy of the president, you just abuse the person. No. You are a disservice to the president. Because how many people can you abuse? Do you have a degree in abuse? You are supposed to be friendly to people. So please, the president's henchmen need to have a thorough rethink about their strategy. And please, in the name of God, nobody should bring in the prestigious Yoruba culture because you want to show you love Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The Yoruba race is bigger than Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Bola Tinubu will come and go. He has been born. One day he will die. The Yoruba culture remains. So please don't denigrate the Yoruba culture just because you want to show that you are, you love Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and it's a lie. All those people that are showing that they love him, now lie. May God spare his life. The day the man died, now no go even remember his family. You guys will move to the next person. You will move to the next person that has the power. You are political jobbers. You are political jobbers. So please, it is disheartening that anybody want to denigrate the Yoruba culture, want to sacrifice the prestigious Yoruba culture on the altar of politics. No. You can tackle the protest anyhow you like. You can create a counter protest, You can orientate the police on how to manage protest, on how to, align with the protesters in such a way that it will be persuasive. Like the CP in Lagos did some time ago when some people were protesting and he bought them water and he sat down with them. There should be a soft approach to these things. But when you now think, or you run out of thinking, and you think the next thing is to denigrate the prestigious Yoruba culture, please, that's absolute nonsense. Please, you can't denigrate the Yoruba culture just because you feel that you love the president, and it's a lie. I can tell you as a political scientist that it's a lie. Mr. Bede, they no love you. They no love you. What they love is your power. If you lose that power, or if you are not alive, forget. And if this thing continues and it boomerangs and it leads into chaos, who is the greatest loser? The greatest loser is you. That is why when they take all this wrong step, when they take all this illogical step, you ought to be on ground to be cautioning them. To be cautioning them. When Jonathan was to contest for the election, Jonathan is from the Niger Delta, where they are dangerous militants with dangerous sophisticated weapons. Why didn't they, bring out arms and start brandishing arms and start? No, please. And there are some things that doesn't have ethnic coloration. The price that Yoruba people are buying Gari is the price that Igbo people are buying Gari, is the price that Hausa people are buying Gari. So what is the ethnic connotation there? Everybody is dissatisfied. It's not that Yoruba people have their own special market whereby you give them Gari for 200 naira, then Igbo people have the separate market, they are buying it for 2,000. Everybody is buying it for the same price. On a closing note, let me give you an example. My friend told me that something that was bought for 700 naira last week, all of a sudden, this week, has turned to something that was bought for 400 naira, sorry. Last week, this week has turned to 700 naira. What kind of... And you begin to imagine that, what a country. Something that was bought for 400 naira last week has turned to 700 naira. Another thing that was bought for 1,900 last week has suddenly turned to 2,500. An increment of 600 naira, just like that. And people have been facing this in the cost of goods and services. Everything you want to buy, if you buy 200 naira before, sometime you go and you are going and prepare 600 naira if you don't want to be disappointed. So where is the ethnic something in that? Everybody is being affected. So naturally, people will be dissatisfied. So what government needs to do is to up their sleeves and go all out to make life convenient for the people, not thinking about to buy presidential jet. People are hungry, people are dying. You say you want to go and buy presidential jet for what? If you tell people to endure, let them see that you are enduring too. Let them see that you are enduring. Don't let these people that will, that will inflate figures. Don't let them push you. Don't let them push the people against you, because if they insist that buy presidential, there may be some people, it's because of the money where they will see from, and so they will just push you, Mr. President, you need presidential. If you don't buy, you will die. All the jet are bad, you will die. Once the president say you will die, he will say, hey, I don't want to die. Yeah, go and buy it. Now lie you. So please, government itself needs a rethink. And in anything you do, don't try to bring the Yoruba culture into ridicule in such a way that when people are now doing real cultural practice, that cultural practice would have lost respect, would have lost prestige, would have lost its dignity. If that is how it was done, you won't be proud to call yourself a Yoruba man today. So if our forefathers had protect the integrity of the culture, now it's your turn. You want to ruin that integrity. Have you thought about the future of of your children. So all these people playing the I love you God, I love you more than God approach should be very careful, please. I think that's a good place to leave it. We'll keep tabs on the situation, and I'll be bringing you all the detailed analysis. Please stay tuned to this channel. Like and follow if you are watching on Facebook. If it's YouTube, please subscribe, and please share. Share. If you have gained anything from this broadcast, let other people also be in position to benefit. I remain my humble self, Dr. Omoshola Deji, political scientist, public affairs analyst. It's been a wonderful time with you. Thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. It's a goodbye from me. See you next time.